Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight we are going to rank our top 10 favorite tracks from Kiss. We're doing the 70s, we're doing the 80s, we're doing it all. So we've got a big panel tonight, we got to keep it moving. So here we go, let's do it. Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight, look at Johnny Metal. Look at him. If I could get my fingers right, we're doing Kiss. We are doing our top 10 Kiss tracks. Now, this could be anything through the era. We're not looking at the 70s. We're not looking at 80s. We're looking at the entire catalog. So the gentlemen on this panel can just go wild. We kind of wrapped before the show, and not everyone ranked them. If you want to rank them, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just about talking Kiss. It's talking about music, and it's about turning everybody on to Kiss if you're not into Kiss. But let us know down below what you rank them or what your favorite top 10 tracks are. We want to hear from you because that's what we're about in the Contrarians. So this isn't a very contrarian topic, but it's a fun topic. So, gentlemen, Keith, Johnny Metal, Rich, the Elder, William Walker, and Dan. Nice to see you, gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Rock and roll. Be interesting.
Rock and roll. Hoochie coo. Oh, no, that's wrong. That's
wrong.
Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to go 3, 3, and 4. We're going to keep it moving, and it's just about the conversation. So I'm going to go Keith, Johnny Metal, Rich, the Elder, William Walker, and Dan, I guess. I'm just going to go the way it looks on my screen. So without any further ado, let's do it. Keith, give us your first 3.
Okay, this was tough to take a band with this kind of career and knock it down to 10 songs, but let's see what we're going to do here. I'm probably one of the oldest of the gang, so don't be surprised when the majority of what I throw at you is the original classic lineup. But I'll start things off. My 10th, I'm going to go into the 80s for Tears Are Falling from Asylum. It's probably, yes, it was the hit song, but I think it deserved to be the hit song. It's one of the best on that record, and that's number 10. Number 9, the classic Love Gun. And from the same album, my number 8 is going to be Ace's first vocal, Shock Me.
All right, so there's your 3. Excellent. Let's throw it over to Johnny Metal. What's your next 3? Don't try to screw me up, John.
All right, I won't. The only way I'm going to screw it up is most of my picks are not going to be a lot of the usual suspects. So I might be kind of contrarian on my list because my number 10 is going to be from the first album that I heard as a young Johnny Metal back in 1975, and that would be the Dress to Kill album. The Ace written, Peter sung song Getaway. I was enamored with that song back in the day. I don't know why I liked it so much. Probably because I just loved Peter's voice on that song. I thought it was really cool. Anyway, so Getaway is my number 9 and my number 10. Keith's number 8 is going to be my number 9 with Shock Me. You'll probably see a little bit of Ace on my list, quite a bit. No surprise there because I do play guitar and Ace was a big inspiration for me. My number 8, I kind of prefer the Alive version a little bit better than the Hotter Than Hell version. But I'll tell you what, Watching You,
yeah,
brutal, absolutely hungry and raw. Love that song. Love the riff. Love the playing. Like I said, I like the live version better than the Hotter Than Hell version, but that's my number 8.
Oh, good choices. All right. Thank you, Johnny Metal. Rich, let's throw it over to you. What's your 3?
Yeah, before I state mine, I wanted to say that I did my radio show 2 nights ago, and I played the live version of Watching You. So, yeah. So I don't really have it like, from least, from least to favorite. I just wrote down 10 off the top of my head, and I'm just going to stick with what I wrote. I'm going to start off with I Stole Your Love from Love Gun. I think that's an incredible song. Yeah. And after that, I'm going to go to Destroyer. That was kind of an album that changed my life. I was like 9 going on 10. And my oldest brother had a friend who introduced us to this album. And at first I couldn't stand it. My only song I liked was Beth. But then one of my brothers said, "Oh, you should listen to Detroit Rock City." And so, and then I became, a huge fan. And, yeah, if I hadn't heard that album, I don't know what would have happened to me. I don't know. But anyhow, so for my second choice, I'm going to do Detroit Rock City. That was really my official introduction to Kiss. And then King of the Nighttime World. I love that song. I love the drumming. I love the singing in it. And I think the guitar solo is fantastic. So, yep, those are my first 3.
I was going to say about Destroyer because I'm thinking of back when I was a kid and I got those records. I've heard some people, well, Kiss wasn't very happy about it until it sold a lot. Mm-hmm. But they weren't really happy with what Bob did on the production. But I don't know. When I was a kid, my buddies and I didn't detect anything unusual. We just thought, oh, it's another Kiss album. But wow, the drums sound great on this record. That's what we thought. We just thought it was an improvement. Maybe it alienated some people. I don't know. It didn't alienate us when we were, middle school or anything. We thought it was fine. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
A good example of Kiss doing a good cover version. Not all of them were very good, but that was a time when if you listen to the Hollywood whatever they were and their original version, that they really they knocked it out of the park. I thought.
Yep, I think so.
I didn't know it was a cover until 5 years ago. So it's a very deep cut cover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. All right, gentlemen, we'll keep going. I'm going to throw it over to the Elder of Rock. What's your 3?
Keith, I have that poster you have behind me. I have that hanging up right there as well. So behind you.
But anyway, Elder, wait a minute. Do you have, Keith and I, before we started recording, I was talking to him about it. Do you have the Jumbo Kiss posters?
No, I used to. I did, but no, those were long gone. But I did.
Did you ever see that video? I know we're on a tangent, but I can't help it. Did you ever see the video of Sebastian Bach? He was able to get one of those posters and he took it to a frame shop. I think he got it dry mounted, maybe. Did you see that?
But I never saw. I don't know.
Okay, anybody watching this show, you've got to go out and check it out. Do a search. Sebastian Bach Kiss poster. It was on his channel. He has one of those jumbo ones from like the mid 70s. Yeah. And they had, according to Keith, they had 3. I had one, my buddy had a different one, and I don't know what the third one looked like, but check this out because he takes this poster that he got to the frame store, and the poster that Sebastian Bach had was the exact same one I had, just like it.
Oh, wow.
If I only kept it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, all that stuff, it's like I had a bunch of Kiss stuff, and and then when they became uncool, right. I got rid of it, and then when you get older, you feel nostalgic, and you're like, oh man, so you kind of try to get some of that stuff back, but but also John 5 has a good Kiss collection. If I remember seeing some video going through his Kiss collection, and
his stuff is amazing.
He's got like stuff from the kissing contest. They had back in the 70s when they just had their first album out, and he's got a lot of good stuff or interesting stuff.
It's awesome. When I was on the 80s cruise, we'll get to William Walker. This is like a tease to get to William Walker.
We haven't even got to the Elder cruise, yet.
Yeah, wasn't it?
I talked to Sebastian Bach on the 80s cruise about that poster.
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, man. Sebastian Bach's like one of the most down to earth dudes you could talk to. He would sit there and talk Kiss. But when we were doing like autographs and stuff, he took so much extra time with everybody, took pictures, talked to them. He really appreciates everybody, his fan base. I'm just going to throw that out there. He was a very cool dude. and quite a collection. But yeah, he would have sat there and talked Kiss if he didn't have a lineup down the road, down the, to get his autograph. Anyway.
Yeah, I know he's a big fan. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, he's no doubt about that. It wouldn't surprise me about he has a good collection either.
Elder, go ahead and give me your 3. God.
All right. I think it was John who had the had Getaway, which was a Peter Criss song, Ace Frehley. Well, I have a different one. This is off Hotter Than Hell. This is Strange Ways. Very heavy song. I love it. Peter Criss. It's a pretty evil sounding song too. Also, Gene Simmons backing vocals on it. He's going Strange Ways. It's really cool. I love that. And then the next one is going to be off Revenge. This is going to be Unholy. This was like the first single from Revenge, and this was like kind of after they had a kind of a little bit of a downturn. This was a definite like, hey, Kiss is back, and it was a Vinnie Vincent penned, and it was heavy and kind of like maybe a son of God of Thunder or something. It's just really good. And then the next one is going to be from The Elder, and it's going to be an Ace Frehley song called Dark Light. And it's very, this is a standout track for me off that album. It's one of the heavier songs. It's got a great guitar solo by Ace on it. So those are my first 3.
Great guitar riff. That is one of my favorite Ace riffs. Yes, it's great. Yeah. That is a phenomenal song. It doesn't get as much love as it should. I love it.
No, I don't know if Ace ever performed it live either.
He performed it on the Kiss Cruise, I think.
Yeah, I saw a video of him playing it live.
Oh, wow, cool. That's very cool.
It wasn't great, but I saw him play it live on YouTube.
Yeah, wasn't great. All right, cool. Awesome. The Elder of Rock has spoken. I'm going to throw it over to William Walker. William Walker, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. This is his first episode, ladies and gentlemen.
No pressure.
No pressure. I want to be dazzled by your picks. But anyway, welcome to the show, William. Nice to see you. Go ahead.
Well, I doubt you'll be dazzled by my picks. That said, I had 34 songs that I could have had in my top 10. But my number 10 is Deuce. So not much surprise there, but there's not really anything to say about Deuce that hasn't already been said.
True.
My number 9, Strange Ways. Everything that the Elder said, very dark and evil sounding. I almost see it as kind of like the Black Diamond Part 2, because those are really the only 2 like super heavy songs they did with Peter on vocals, and the rest are kind of mellow, I think. But and yeah, the gang vocals on those albums are so good. Especially that might be the best album for their gang vocals. But and my number 8, really the only strange pick you'll see from me, but I went with Psycho Circus, the title track. Not an album I'm really fond of for production reasons and other things, but I think that track embodies what they were trying to go for, and then just falls off from there. But Paul sounds amazing on that track. The guitar riffing is amazing. Guitar solo sounds just like something off of the debut. And that's one I listen to all the time. I used to go check the mail and play that song.
Well, what is it about? I'm just curious, William, what's the thing about, you said the production on it. What about the production you don't like?
Well, it's been a long time. I just remember it being kind of flattery to my ears. Just not liking the guitar tones and how the like Gene's vocals were produced. That's the thing with this band, is with the classic stuff, with there being 4 members, even though I know there's the dispute about that with this album. You have to talk about production in light of different people, because they all sang, and guitars were different because Paul played some leads and Ace didn't play all the leads. So, but I would have to go back and revisit it, because since it's not a great album, I don't go back and listen to it all the time. So
yeah, that was disappointing. Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, of an album, considering it was a reunion, and then you find out they didn't all play on it, and it's like, well, what was the point,
Yeah, Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
a lot of those songs sounded contrived, like let's write another Shout It Out Loud or whatever.
Yeah.
They just seem forced. I like
That's
3 songs on
forced.
there and I'm out.
yeah.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, it's
Beth part 2.
You know,
It just
Oh,
goes
yeah.
to show you can't go backwards, though. I did
Yeah.
see him on the tour in '98, and I never got to see him when I was a kid. But man, I swear to God, I could close my eyes and it sounded like 1978.
I would love to see an old school contrarian episode of Kiss. I have some very contrarian ideas about the band. They've been with me longer than any other band, but I don't cut them a whole lot of slack. Time and time again, they just kind of stuck it to the fans with their smoke and mirrors, and I don't. I love the guys, but I'm not so much of a fanboy to forgive them for all that they. It all started going wrong right here. It was the beginning.
Oh,
The
boy.
beginning of the wheels coming off for those damn solo
The
records.
cracks are forming.
So,
That's
but anyway,
what I like to say.
and
I
the
got my
movie
rant.
and all that.
I got my rant in. So.
But I just want to say, see him in '98, Peter on drums, Ace. It was Ace Frehley on that tour. Absolutely. They all nailed it. It was everything I hoped for. They were top notch, tight. It was phenomenal.
supposedly they weren't
Yeah.
getting along.
Well, they
No,
were getting
yeah, well-
on stage. It was great. So,
Yeah, I think it was the farewell tour, the first farewell tour, or whatever that they did with Ace and Peter. That really when they started not getting along, and I don't think even Peter finished that tour.
Nope.
It was all
And-
about the money.
Oh, Peter was playing drums in '98.
No, yeah, he was there for that, and I saw the '96 reunion, and that was all good
Yeah.
too. You know, that was all
Yeah.
that was fantastic. There was
It was
such an energy
fantastic.
about it, and it was just so cool. Yeah.
All good. All right, let's throw over to Dan. Could this show get any looser? Probably not. Dan, what's your 3?
Is William done? Yeah.
Did you done, William? Or was that
Yeah.
Okay.
John Clauser? We have to
He did.
defer to John Clauser.
He did.
I thought I
Yes.
heard 2. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
put John Clauser in charge to keep track.
John's your
Dan,
second,
you're
and I'm
up.
John's second.
All right.
So is he your co-host then?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I brought props because why not? I'm a huge Kiss fan. It's my favorite band. Will always be my favorite band. And I like the 70s, like the 80s, like the 90s, and so on. So I put everything all together. So I'm gonna go with one choice that Keith came up with. I'm gonna go with Tears Are Falling. This was the first album I bought with my own money of Kiss. And I literally remember doing a double take when I first heard Tears Are Falling. I'm like, wow, that is good. So that's my first choice, or 10th, I guess. Next one, I'm going to go really new here. I'm going to go with Last Chance off of this one here. I went to the Kiss mini putt, and this was one of the songs actually requested to be played on the in Vegas there. While my ex decided to put Rock and Roll All Night, I was going, whatever. Anyway, even the guy went, okay. And
Never heard that one.
what's that?
I said they never heard that one before.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, okay. And I just love Gene's bass tone on Last Chance there, the intro. Sure, it's one note, but whatever. And number 8. This one's either very loved or very hated. I've actually always loved it regarding one of their more popular songs, and I'm going to go with I Was Made for Loving You. Whatever it is, it's a great song. This is not a disco album, by the way, people. They just did a disco song. So there
That
you go.
choice caused Johnny Metal to cough.
Oh, well.
It's all good.
It's still a pretty heavy song.
I don't have a problem with
It's a
that.
good song.
Dave.
It's still a
I
good
don't have
song.
a
Yeah,
problem.
I love it. I have no problem with it.
I like
That one.
Ace's guitar solo in that. It was just
Yeah.
the way that comes in,
Yeah.
and I thought it was really cool.
I had to endure quite a few, punches and miscellaneous things over the years defending them. And all of a sudden, 1979, this thing shows up and how am I supposed to defend this band anymore when they're flat out doing a disco song? So,
I heard it. I just didn't know it was them at the time because I was 7 years old at the time, and I was like, you know what, a good song is a good song to me. So
Good song's a good song.
I got over it,
it.
but at
Not
the time,
apologizing for that. There you
oh
go.
my goodness.
But Peter didn't play on that either.
That's all Anton, right?
Yeah.
Anton's on.
Except for Dirty Living.
Masked. Peter's
Yeah.
That's
sort
Peter.
of
Dirty
on
Dirty
Dynasty.
Living. He's
Peter's
on
only
Dirty
on
Living.
Dirty Living on
Yeah.
the drums. Yeah.
That's
But
about it.
Anton, hey, Anton sounds great. I don't have a problem.
But
with
he sounds
Anton.
great. Yeah. I mean,
He sounds
good
great.
drumming.
So, all right. Was
He's on
that
Ace's
three, Dan?
solo album too.
That he is.
Dan, was that 3?
That
It
was
Johnny Metal.
right,
was that-
John.
Over to Keith.
All right, we're going over to Keith. Keith, we need your next 3. What you got?
okay. We'll take it back to the original album. 100,000 Years is next. Then I'll go back to the 80s. Probably my favorite Gene song from the 80s era, from the non-makeup era, from Lick It Up, is Not For the Innocent. I don't really care for too many of Gene's songs in that entire era, but that one was really spot. That's what I wanted from my Gene. So then number 5 is I had to put something on from Rock and Roll Over, because I think from that original era, I think that is the best sounding album production wise. Eddie Kramer really nailed it on that one. I love the sound of that, and so I'll go with Making Love.
Good choice.
Okay. There we
Wish
go.
I could disagree, but I can't. It's a good
Mm-mm.
choice. All right, let's throw
All
over
right.
Johnny Metal.
All right. Well, my number 7 has been mentioned already. And of course, it comes from this Revenge album. But imagine with me hearing and seeing the Demon singing Unholy. And I ain't talking the way he would sing it live. No, I'm just talking about how he sings it on the record.
Yeah.
The higher, the yell. No, on the live when you're just doing it. I was created by man. Yeah, I'm the Lord. No. I was created by man. Yeah, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get that, unfortunately. But still, Unholy, great riff. Return of the Demon, great song. Number 6. We've already had one Rick Derringer mention earlier, and so why not mention from Lick It Up, Exciter? I don't know what it is about Exciter, but I always liked that song. It was one of my favorites of the non-makeup era, and I like the emotion of the playing and Paul's delivery on that one. So that was always a good one for me. My number 5, we're going back to Dynasty, and we're going to go with another Ace song, "Save Your Love," the album closer. I love that track. I still love that track. I just listened to it earlier and I was like, so long. And then he goes right into that great solo, the great vocal at the end. I love the Ace songs from Unmasked and Dynasty.
Yeah,
They were
me too,
always
yeah.
my favorites. Ace's solo album was my favorite by a long shot. So there you go.
Wow. You like the Ace on the Elder. Look at you, Mr. Klauser.
And I even like it. Yeah. I'm with him on Dark Light too, but more on the Elder a little bit later.
All right. I'm tuned in. All right, Rich, you're up. What's your next 3?
My next choice is God of Thunder. I remember that song scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I love those little voices, which is Bob Ezrin's sons. And I think it's funny that they never tried to reproduce those kids' voices live. I just think it's a great riff. And I thought it was cool that Paul Stanley wrote it, but Gene sang it. And I think Paul is quoted as saying, Gene's song, Gene's like, trademark song is one that I wrote, So I love that song. Now I'm going to Hotter Than Hell with All the Way. I think that's a kind of an overlooked Gene Simmons song, and I played that on my show the other night too. That and Watching You. I think that's a great tune. And then for my third choice, I'm going with another Gene song, and that's Deuce from the debut. I think that's maybe his best song that he wrote with Kiss. So those are my choices.
All right, cool. All right, the Elder of Rock, you're up.
All right, my next one is going to be from Rock and Roll Over. But from Rock and Roll Over, this is Take Me. I just love the way it comes in, dun, dun, da, 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 and then it's got that bump. I think that's what Martin refers to as 4 on the floor drumming. Bum, 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 bum. I think that's what he but it's got that cool beat. I've always liked that song. And me being a naive kid, I didn't get the meaning of put your hands in my pocket, grab onto my rocket till years later. Because as a naive kid, you're just thinking,
I got it right away, Rich. Elder. I got
What's
it right.
that?
I got it right away.
So the next one's going to be from Lick It Up, but this is going to be All Hell's Breaking Loose. Always liked this song. The video's kind of cool. And then it's like got kind of Paul doing a rap kind of thing on it. It's, and it's kind of, the riff's kind of evil sounding. I just thought that was a cool riff.
Great riff.
Yeah. And then the next one is going to be off of Alive 2, or the studio songs, Larger Than Life. Love that song. Love that riff. Love the drumming on it. And it's just very cool. So those are my next 3.
Excellent choices. Okay, let's throw it over to William Walker. William, what's your next 3?
Well, my number 7 is Parasite. We've mentioned a few of them already, but I just love that evil sound in Gene's voice on those early albums with like Deuce and Cold Gin and God of Thunder and this one. And I think that's, as was mentioned with the 80s stuff, that's what was missing for me, is you can't fit that kind of personality in the glam metal era. It just wouldn't work. And I feel like Gene tried softening a little bit, and it just, Asylum, like a lot of the songs on Asylum that he sings, I just don't like. Like Any Way You Slice It is one of them. But it's I always thought if the glam metal era hadn't happened to Kiss, that Gene could have probably set himself up to be a heavy metal icon just because of his appearance and his approach to singing, because he's got a pretty extreme vocal on those
but
early
his solo
albums.
album was so weird and mellow.
Yeah. That kind of tears down the image, because it's like this Beatles like.
Well, that's
he loves the
exactly
Beatles, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the thing. When they talk about their influences, Gene always falls on the Beatles. So that pretty much tells you he was shooting to do his Beatle album, and then it kind of makes sense.
And the other thing I want to throw out there is that Paul and Gene they've mentioned the Raspberries, and you can hear both Raspberries influences on their solo albums. The Beatles, Raspberries. Oh my God. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's what they were into. So
on when I used to listen to the early albums, I always thought Ace and Gene were probably the 2 bringing the heavy edge to the band, but I don't know who I think brought that edge now. It's hard to decipher when they do talk about their influences, because there's definitely no Rolling Stones to them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, number 6, surprise, no surprise. I'm gonna go with Beth. It seems kind of out of place here, I guess, but I've never been embarrassed about liking it. I always thought it was a great showcase for Peter's voice. So I like that there's not a lot of instrumentation to it, like up in your face, because Peter just has a really good melodic voice for doing those kinds of ballads. So yeah, I've always liked that song. And number 5, number 5, I'm gonna go with I Want You from Rock and Roll Over. Always been one of my favorites from day one. I'm a big sucker for songs that start mellow right away, and then they shift into a big heavy part, and then they don't return to the mellow part. And they had a few other songs like that, but it reminds me of like songs like Y&T Rescue Me or April Wine, Wings of Love. So I like that a lot. Paul sounds so aggressive on that song. And the guitars are molten. Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of his vocals on I Stole Your Love, which I really wanted to fit on here, but I couldn't. So
Killer stuff. All right, cool. Sounds great. Dan?
Like I say, I like the unplugged version of Beth as well that they did on that. I thought that was a really cool version.
I'll go on record. Peter
Phantom?
Criss is the best had the best sounding vocals in Kiss. I swear to God, I could listen to Peter Criss all the time. God, he
do
was.
you like Out of Control?
I don't think I've heard Out of Control.
I don't mind it. I like it better than the other one. Let Me Rock You.
Oh yeah.
I'm just talking about him as a
Let me-
singer, though.
Yeah.
I'm not talking
Yeah.
about his output.
Material.
Yeah, material, but as a singer.
Well, yeah. I mean, there'd be better things to hear him sing than his solo albums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hooligan.
but that's what he was. Hooligan.
Yeah,
Oh,
that song gets
oh.
slammed, but I love Hooligan, and I
sounds-
love the
it's great.
the
I'm not saying
guitar,
nothing bad.
the guitar in that, the guitar solo. I love that, it's ripping. But
There you go.
Hooligan has not ever been a big love song.
I love it.
I think some of the Peter songs feel kind of underwritten compared to some of the other songs, which is probably pretty noteworthy for a band that's already accused of having a lot of underwritten songs. But Hooligan just sounds like one of those ones that they're like, oh, we need another kind of mid-tempo heavy one. Let's hear Peter sing this, kind of a
Well,
thing.
they fashioned themselves after the Beatles, so he was Ringo. So they have to give Ringo a song.
He had a better voice though.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, Dan.
Dan, you're up.
All right. So my next three, one of them is going to be a very, very deep cut, but I'm going to go with I Was Made for Loving You. That was one of the hits that I liked. This is the other hit that is I'm not tired of hearing. I'm going to go with Shout It Out Loud. Absolutely love that song. Great duo
anthem.
vocals with Gene and great hit right here. Now, this one's really coming out in left field, but that was my favorite song actually off this album. So I'm going to go with Psycho Circus. The song is Journey of 1,000 Years, which I find is a very epic song, but it's when I heard it, there was a hockey game being played and they were making a montage about somebody's career and they were playing this song. I was like, oh my God, now I get it. It's like, and especially the ending part when they're redoing the guitar solo that's in Psycho Circus. And I was like, oh my God, that's actually brilliant for Kiss, obviously there. But I love the orchestration, the reinsertion of the Psycho Circus guitar solo. I absolutely, absolutely love this song. So Journey of 1,000 Years for number 6. And I forget who mentioned this one here, but I'm going to go with Take Me off of Rock and Roll Over. That is probably one of Paul's more original guitar riffs. It's, I absolutely, absolutely love this song. So there you go. Take Me is the other one right here. That's number 5, yeah.
Awesome.
I
All
want to
right.
say, I also love Journey of 1,000 Years. I think that's an amazing song. That's probably my favorite song of Psycho Circus. And I really love the drumming in that too, and
it's odd.
Yeah, it's
an odd drum sound, or drum.
Yeah, but it's a perfect ending to that album.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely an overlooked Kiss song, but I've always loved it.
I had actually in my mind, I was like, oh my God, that's the perfect way to end a tour, like that tour. Just have a curtain, while that song's playing, and they do Black Diamond, but
Cool.
Awesome. Excellent choices. All right, Keith, we're throwing it over to you. What's your top 4?
Okay, here we go. I love the album. I love everything. It's a shorty, and it's one of those original records with bad production, but I love everything about it. From Dress to Kill, Love Her All I Can is my next one. Number 3, we heard John gave us Watching You earlier, and I love that song. And he mentioned the Alive over the studio. The one that really kicks some major ass is during the Bruce Kulick era, Alive 3. It just what a banger that is on that album. I love that. For number 2, I went with Detroit Rock City, just because it's Detroit Rock City. And my number 1 is Black Diamond. That is probably my favorite from that debut record, which to me is like the cinder block foundation of the entire house that Kiss built. So there you have it.
All right, cool. Excellent. Top notch. All right, Johnny Metal.
Okay, so here's my number 4 is going to throw everybody for a loop. Under the Rose from The Elder. I absolutely have come to love that song so much over the last few years, and The Elder has become probably my favorite Kiss album currently. But I loved it all back in the day. I love that Eric has a co-write on that. He even plays a little guitar on it. But there was something in the lyrics that was just really speaking to me big time. So I got to give some props to Under the Rose, something from The Elder. Number 3 is going to be another one that's going to throw everybody for a loop. It's probably the only song that's going to be mentioned from this album, I have a feeling. From Carnival of Souls, I Walk Alone. Bruce's only vocal.
Yeah, great one.
Holy crap, what a great song that is. I love all the riffs. I love the grooves. The song spoke to me back in the day. Always has been one of my favorite Kiss songs. And everybody thinks I'm nuts because of it. But
no,
that's just me.
They didn't need to have that upside down drums though, and in the
that's the only thing that it does.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird, but
yeah, it didn't fit. But the rest of the song is great. Good choice.
The rest of the song is pretty awesome. My number 2. Okay, this is probably gonna be one of the usual suspects, but God of Thunder. Fell in love with it as a kid. Scared the heck out of my wife when I did it in a death metal vocal once and she was in the room and I was singing along with it, and I went all death metal vocal, and she thought Satan was coming out of the speakers. So that was, but I mean, to see Gene do that back on the reunion tour for 96 and 97. My favorite song will be from the first album. I mean, you got to give props to the Love Theme from Kiss. No, wait a minute. No, wrong song.
Love Theme from Kiss? I heard that. It's number 1.
No. Just kidding. No, it's got, again, here again, I love the live version more than I love the studio version, but Black Diamond, come on. The live version just is where it's at, and I just absolutely love Black Diamond. Always will. That will never change.
Yeah, great vocal from Peter Criss. Come on.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Rich?
All right. So
What's
my
4?
last 4, again, I didn't do this from least favorite to most favorite. I'm just reading off the list. Take Me. Other people have mentioned that. I just think it's I think it may be like the heaviest song off the album, and love the little instrumental section for it. Just really love the drive to that song. Getaway is next. I've always liked the bass line, and I found out recently that it wasn't Gene that played the bass for it. It was Ace. But it's a short song, but it says a lot, and it's 2.5, 3 minutes, and maybe my favorite vocal by Peter Criss, who he's not my favorite vocalist in the band, but I love him on that. Next one is from another one from Dress to Kill, Love Her All I Can. I love Ace's guitar playing in it. I love Peter's drum fills. He has a lot of cool drum fills, gets a chance to show off. I thought his drumming was horrible on the first two records, but I felt like he improved a lot for Dress to Kill. And then my last one is one that no one else has mentioned so far, and that's 100,000 Years. And my favorite aspect of that is Ace's guitar playing, that solo that he does. And I think both versions are great. You know, the one on the live album has that long drum solo and Paul speaking to the audience, but I like the original version too. I think that they're both really great songs. So
Awesome.
That's my list.
Excellent list. Can't argue with any of those. All right, let's throw over to the Elder Rock.
So I am going to mention one off of Carnival of Souls as well. This one is called In My Head. Just love it. Very slamming song. Just very heavy. Gene vocal, very cool. I love it. Next one is also a Gene song. This is off Creatures of the Night. This is a War Machine. Just love that. Typical Gene being evil. Of course, the drum sound is humongous.
Yeah.
And just a great riff. Love it. Next one is off of Rock and Roll Over. This is the Peter song called Baby Driver. It's one of the heavier songs that Peter has done, I think, and very nice, just very heavy, cool riff and song. And then the last one I'm gonna do is this is the first song I ever heard from Kiss, ever saw him perform on the Paul Lynde Halloween special, Detroit Rock City. And ever since then, I was in love with Kiss. And I brought the album home, put it on, and there was this weird thing at the beginning where I'm like, did I get a Cheech and Chong album? Because there's this fake news thing going on. and then it starts the song. But but great. It was all awesome. So so Detroit Rock City.
That Paul Lynde Halloween special was a big deal when I was a kid.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's like after I'd heard of Kiss, but I always thought they're just kind of this jokey band, and then I saw them perform, and of course, looking back now, it's kind of cheesy the way their amps blew up and stuff. But
yeah, but then
it was like, but yeah,
back then, as a 7 or 8 year old kid, however old I was, I was excited to see them on TV.
Yeah.
Man,
but when you also saw Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park, same thing. How horrible it was. But when you're a kid and you look at that and you're Kiss crazy.
Absolutely.
You're sitting there like that, all in gold.
It's a masterpiece, right?
It's a masterpiece. Then now you watch it now, you're going,
wow, what was I thinking?
What the hell? This is a horrible thing. All right, cool. Excellent.
What were they thinking too?
I don't know. Hey, it was that era. Keith, show me your shirt again. We're getting the cracks. There it is. Cracks are forming.
Ooh, no, the cracks are forming. Okay, sorry.
Look at John coming up with the tunage. All right, let's start with William Walker. What's your next four?
Well, probably there's nothing new here, really, I guess. But my number 4 is God of Thunder. I'm probably in the minority here. I prefer the studio version because of how slow it is and has more of a doomy sound. The live version always had a faster, more up-tempo vibe. But actually, I don't know if any of you have checked out the Paul Stanley recording. It's the tempo is more similar to the live version with the faster guitars and everything. So I think it's interesting that they maintained that part of the
box
Paul version. Yeah. It's still pretty fun to listen to. I listen to the one with Paul sometimes too. But
I heard that and I thought, thank goodness they had the sense. Give it to Gene.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely the better version.
Bob Ezrin.
Not like that Paul version at all.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean all the sound effects too just make it all the creepier. You don't get that in the live version either. But and I love creepy sounding stuff. So my number 3 is Love Gun. I just love that pounding, slamming intro, and another one of Paul's more extreme vocals, I think, from that era. And then, of course, that build with that guitar solo overall, or more like under, I guess, all the vocal harmonies at the end is just perfect 3 minutes to me. I've always loved that one. And then number 2 is Detroit Rock City. I know we've heard it all a million times. I never get sick of that song. I think that's the only song of theirs I ever heard on the radio that I liked, though. Because other than that, they played Rock and Roll All Night a lot. Never liked that song. And they played I Love It Loud. I never liked that song either. But I've never gotten rid of Detroit Rock City. Never gotten tired of it. And I think that's another one. I even like the dishwashing and the news report on the on the studio version. It's a good setup. You're like, oh, what's going to happen here? And it just kind of rolls in and keeps your attention. And then my number 1 is Black Diamond. I mentioned the mellow starts. That I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting song. And then that riff comes in, and I'm like, oh my gosh! It's like, this is first time I heard it, I was like, I can't think of anything other than Sabbath that's this heavy for the time. Hearing that song, and I mean, just everything that the band does perfectly is there in that song, in my opinion. I mean, perfect vocal harmonies. You hear everybody except for Ace, I guess. Great guitar solo, great riffs, and then that epic, dramatic, down tuning outro. I mean, that thing's pretty scary too. So, yeah.
I can't remember. Remind me, on double platinum, does it have the down tuning end on double platinum?
It fades out and it goes back to the beginning.
Yeah. Double Platinum, they remixed a couple. I think Love Gun also they remixed.
I think the whole album was remixed.
The whole album is all
John Delaney remixed the whole thing.
Slight differences on every song.
Yeah, God of Thunder, you don't have the kids yakking and screaming and stuff like that.
Well, that's what makes that.
I love the double platinum though. Remember, I got that when it came out when I was a kid. Think about it. You've got that album where it's just shiny as can be. And you remember, okay, come on, you did this. You opened up the inside and you're looking at it and you're looking at the pictures of the band and they're all embossed and you're going, I wonder if I can figure out what they look like.
Yeah.
Because there's no makeup on.
You wanted to put like paper over it and you tried to
put that. I was going to say the paper and the pencil.
Did that.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what they look like. I like it. And the other thing is, I was going to say, because William Walker chose Detroit Rock City, they still play that on the radio around here, but they don't play the version that's on Destroyer. They always play the double platinum version, which is fine.
Is that the one that sounds? Does it have a live sound to it?
It's the same version. It just doesn't have all the effects.
Yeah, they just don't have all the.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, that was all cut out for this single.
Yeah.
Where I'm
sure
at,
it was remixed.
I'm at, the one that plays has more of a live sound to it, and it doesn't have the sound effects. It's like probably like a 4-minute version, and I think
that could be the double platinum one.
There's also a version on Smashers, Thrashers, and Hits and some stuff as well that were remixed. So it could be that version as well.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I love double platinum. I love it because it's great. I like what Sean Delaney did with it.
It's a good compilation,
You've got Strutter 78 on it, for God's sakes, people.
Strutter 78.
Did you fill out the platinum record?
I did actually.
Did you put your name on there?
I did. Actually.
I think I did.
I probably did.
Yeah. Yep. I can't remember. I did that.
I've got a version of it here with. I do have a version. I have it, and it's not filled out. It's just the platinum record.
Oh, and John, when my Kiss Army kit, what is that? Is that a sticker?
What this?
No, that's his card.
That's a card.
Oh, it's
membership
a card.
I
got an actual patch.
I should have bought it.
A black patch with the silver with the logo in silver. I have to dig that.
I don't think I had that, but
that was in my army kit.
Wow. Yeah, I wish I had all that old stuff. I this in the certificate. I think of in the folder that came in, but all the newsletters and stuff. Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff anymore.
Oh,
And those
man.
those
Yeah.
4 8x10 photos in there, those are some of
wish I had those.
my favorite photos. I have to dig that stuff out.
We could do a show on just the Kiss Army loot. All right.
Hi, Dan.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, you're up. Let's hear
All
your
right.
4.
My last 4, there's only one that's been mentioned. So I was like, okay, I'm a little, but I'm going to go with, and I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to go with Let Me Go Rock and Roll, but this version.
Oh yeah.
I've
Yeah.
airbanded in front of a mirror so many times. I mean, just last week, no. But it's got everything. It's got bass, drums, like, everybody does their little part. Bass, drums, guitar solos, plenty. I know it's not really live, but it's whatever. It's brilliant. It just shows off their talent right there. So for me, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, but the alive version. I'm not crazy about. I like it, the version on Hotter Than Hell, but I love the version.
So much shorter,
on
yeah.
Alive.
It's only like 2 minutes long on Hotter Than
Yeah,
Hell.
it's like
though.
really short on Hotter Than Hell.
Yeah, this one's like
It's like over, but you blink and it's done.
They like threw a
Yeah.
guitar solo in the live version and other stuff, and it's just really cool.
Love
Yeah.
it.
I love that live version of that song. That's
Love.
a great way to end the album.
Yeah, and not to same way. I do like the studio version, but I'm gonna go with She version off of Alive. I do love the. I actually don't even mind. I don't know if you guys heard the Wicked Lester version with the flutes.
Oh yeah,
That's interesting.
Yes,
It's on the
It's
box
different,
set.
but it
It's on
is.
the box set.
But
yeah.
She and then you add that little jam guitar outro from Let Me Know from the first album. I'm like, oh my god, that is like the perfect song. So I love that song. And a lot of non-Kiss fans or people who hate Kiss are like, that song's actually not too bad, And we played it in my old band there, but that's a great one for me. But again, She, the Alive version, a little bit better than the version on Dress to Kill. Also, I'm going to go with this one. Doesn't really matter if it's from the first album or Alive, but I'm going to go with Deuce, who, again, in front of their mirror, hasn't done this there, da-da-da-da.
Well, not
I've done
since
that so many
1978,
times.
79, but yeah.
What's that?
Not since 1979, but yes.
Or maybe the last time you saw him in concert.
1998. Yeah.
Let's just say it's not. That's not your date there, Grant. I've done it not too long ago, but let's not talk about that.
All right, we won't bring it up.
And my number one, and is my favorite song of all time, hasn't been mentioned today. This is, to me, what everything Kiss is about, and I'm going to go with Calling Dr. Love. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Dan, that's your song. Like,
I love calling Dr.
I remember being at work and I had to reset a password and goes, what's your password? I go, Dr. Love. And he's like, and the guy's
Oh my
like,
God.
what? I'm like, it's a song. I'm like, I have to explain it. Of course, if you just think of Dr. Love, you think of, some sort of quack on, anyway, whatever. But anyway, I had to explain myself for that one. But yeah, that's my favorite song of all time. So I'm going to go with Calling Dr. Love. Oh, and okay, I'm going to actually ask you guys this. I had a cassette of Rock and Roll Over. It's a Canadian press, apparently. But Calling Dr. Love has the guitar solo repeated twice. Love 'Em, Leave 'Em has the guitar solo repeated twice. Mr. Speed has no guitar solo. So I still have the cassette. I have nothing to play them on to show it to anybody. But it's like, no, everybody I talked to, I've looked online. Nobody has it. Oh, and Kiss's first album, Kissin' Time, I have a version without a guitar solo. So I don't know. But yeah,
What is going on up there in Canada with you, Dan?
Wow.
I don't
Might be
know,
worth
but I
something.
got
You should
some
check it out.
rarities, but I'm like, I don't know what to do with them.
Did you
Nobody
check
knows what I'm talking
Discogs
about.
for that version to see if it's mentioned?
What's that?
Check Discogs and see if that version's mentioned.
I've looked. I think it was on. The only reason I saw this is somewhere. I've looked. So I've made episodes on my channel asking people if they ever heard of this, but apparently it's a Canadian pressing where on a cassette only, where the Dr. Love guitar solo was repeated twice, and it makes a song even longer. And I was like, and my friend was like, "Okay, why isn't there a guitar solo in Mr. Speed right here?" And I was like, "I'm like, what are you talking about? Like all my life I've known that version, but I don't know."
All right, anybody listen to Dave? If you know anything about that, please make a comment down below. Someone
please
out
help
there
me.
has
I
to
have no
know.
idea.
So
I'm
please
going to
let
be
us
looking
know.
for that. I'm going to be looking for that now.
So
Yeah.
calling Dr. Love with 2 guitar solos, Love 'Em Leave 'Em with 2 guitar solos, Mr. Speed without a guitar solo, and the first Kiss album, Kiss in Time, without a guitar solo. There's 4 versions of songs that I have that nobody else seems to have. So, and it's not like it's a cassette, it's a real cassette. It wasn't like chopped off, or there's no tape.
wasn't
of the guy.
It wasn't a record club cassette, was it? Just a regular, some of those record club ones are, you never know.
This is back in. Are you talking like Columbia House Club there?
Yeah.
That I don't even think that was a thing back then, was it? This
might
is
have been.
19.
I don't know.
Yeah,
My neighbor
that might have been right when it started.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
photoshopped, in other words.
No, no,
All right.
no. This is a real cassette, and it's all my life. I grew up with those versions, and then people, when I got the reissues and all that, I'm like, this is totally different. So I kept them.
Got me. All right. I guess we wrap this
Record
dog
clubs
up.
were around in the 70s. Just to
Yeah.
clarify that they were around
Yeah.
forever.
Early
Maybe,
70s.
but my neighbor gave me those cassettes as a kid.
Yeah.
That's how I got into Kiss.
Okay.
But that was like in this probably 1978, 79, maybe. So
anybody knows, let us know down below. We'd like to know.
Well,
So
Dan, you're Canadian. You're from Canada, correct?
yes.
So, what about the rest of the Kiss catalog? Was everything on Casablanca and then Polygram, or because sometimes things are a little.
No, it was all Casablanca.
Hmm.
Then Mercury in the 80s there, but yeah, it was all Casablanca here. Like, there's, like I said, that's the only difference I've found.
You could have something really rare. You never know. I mean, you could have something.
I don't know. It would have to be up on Discogs somewhere, but what do I know? I don't know.
I just want to know what I have. That's like, I literally can't find anything. But
I got a cassette player with a USB on it off of Amazon, and it was only like $20. I don't know if that's something you could maybe do and check out.
Yeah.
Then you could hear it and see what for sure if it's what it is,
Oh, I know for sure that's what it is. It's just like I've talked about it on my channel and nobody ever comments or just doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I swear to God, I have 4 versions that nobody else has. And that's probably why I love Dr. Love that much, because I love that guitar solo. And here he goes twice. So.
Wow. Well, that's crazy. All right. So anybody knows, please let us know down below so we can crack this, get this together. But you've never made like a digital copy of it? You don't have a cassette deck anymore?
I've gotten rid of my cassette decks and CD players because it's
gasp.
My Ghetto Blaster just stopped working, or I was like, I'm not bothering with that there. So I still have a few cassettes, but like ones that are worth keeping there. But
gotcha. All right, kids, we can wrap this dog up. This is a great show.
All right.
Let us know about Rock and Roll Over down below. Want to thank Keith. Yes, there's with the prop. Johnny Metal, Rich, the Elder, William Walker and Dan, this is a great conversation. Let us know down below how you would rank these top 10 Kiss tracks. Could be 70s, could be 80s, could be 90s, whatever you want. We want to hear from you. If you'd like to be on these shows or like to be on these conversations, we'd love to have you. We have a Patreon that you can sign up. The link is down below. A lot of great interaction there, a lot of great music talk, top notch. We also have merch. I keep forgetting to talk about merch, but we have merchandise down below. We'd love for you to buy a shirt. Get yourself a shirt, for crying out loud. And we also have a Ko-fi. Buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. We'd love to have that. And if you're just really generous, just give us a donation. We'd love to have it. We do this because we like to talk music, and we talk music tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you like it. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe if you haven't. What more can I talk about? I think I've covered it. Gentlemen, have a good night. What's next on the Contrarians? I don't know, but be looking out. We try to put content out all the time. Summer's a little bit slow, but we've got some shows that I'm working on editing, so look for more stuff. All right, gentlemen, have a good night. Thanks for coming on.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, fellas.